Good morning, students. Well, presently we are discussing pharmaceutical chemistry 2 practicals, and now we are proceeding with the experiment number 2. The title of the experiment is to determine the melting point of the given solid organic compound. I repeat, to determine the melting point of the given solid organic compound. One request I would like to make you to for all of you, that whenever we are discussing any experiment or anything related with our syllabus, you should keep open that particular experiment with you. Well, melting point and boiling point, these are the physical constants which are characteristic feature of every organic compound. Means every organic compound has got a specific melting point and specific boiling point. In case of solids, we use to determine melting point of the given compound. Now, melting point means the temperature at which a given solid gets converted into liquid form. This will be the simplest definition of melting point. Now, why melting point is determined? The first and foremost purpose is whenever you want to identify any given organic compound, then melting point or physical constant is one of the important characteristic feature for its identity. And second, by ascertaining the melting point of any given compound, you can check the purity of that compound, because highly pure organic compounds, they show a sharp melting point. That means whenever a compound which is utmost pure and you find out its melting point, it will melt at a particular fixed temperature, that is its melting point, at its melting point, in one go only. But if a given compound melts in a range of temperatures, say for example, the melting point of benzoic acid is 120 degrees centigrade, and if it's in pure form, then when you go for determination of its melting point, it will melt the whole compound which you have filled in the capillary, it will melt in one go only at 120 degrees centigrade. But if suppose it starts melting at 120 degrees and it finishes or complete compound melts at 120.5 degrees centigrade. So this range of 0.5 degrees centigrade indicates that the compound is of lower purity. Now, for determining melting point and boiling point manually, because I am speaking this because nowadays automatic melting point apparatus are also available, which we call digital melting point apparatus. But in our laboratory, we will be carrying out the melting point and boiling point determination manually, not digitally. Now, for determining these physical constants, you need a glass tube which is specially designed, which is called Thiel's tube. Now, in this picture, which is displayed on your screen and which is printed in your manual, this glass tube is specially designed. It has got a curve or a bending at one side. Now, this bending is done for uniform heat distribution. Inside this Thiel's tube, we normally used to fill liquid paraffin as a heating medium. If liquid paraffin is not available in the laboratory, then concentrated sulfuric acid can be used, but utmost care has to be taken in that case. Now, why liquid paraffin is filled? We cannot heat a small quantity of compound directly for finding the melting point, because it will get charred and it will be very difficult and impossible to find out its melting point. So you need something to provide indirect heat to the given compound, and paraffin has got many advantageous properties. Like, say for example, liquid paraffin is a clear, transparent, colorless liquid, so that you can see inside, because the Thiel's tube is made up of glass, and this liquid paraffin is also transparent, so that you can easily see inside the liquid paraffin what is happening with our compound when it is getting melted and so on. Second thing, liquid paraffin has got highest boiling point, or its boiling point is too high, around 360 degree or so. Third point, liquid paraffin, you can use it many times. There will be no change in its properties by continuous heating and cooling. Then again, liquid paraffin is an inert substance. So if suppose your compound gets fall in liquid paraffin, nothing will happen. Again, it is easily available. It is cheap. So these are some of the advantageous points of liquid paraffin. That's why it is filled in the Thiel's tube. Now, the procedure, how exactly it is done. For finding out melting point, you need to take a small capillary of medium sized hole. Your blood capillary will not be sufficient in this case. You need somehow broader hole or broader width capillaries. Take a glass capillary and seal its one end by holding it on flame for a while and move it continuously during holding, so that uniform sealing will be achieved. Then just allow it to cool for a while, for few seconds. Since the glass capillary is made up of delicate glass, it will easily get sealed. And then take a small quantity of powdered organic compound into sealed capillary tube, or you can say fill the small quantity of given organic compound which is previously powdered into this sealed capillary tube. Just by moving the open end of the capillary inside the powder and tapping it continuously, you can fill the capillary tube. You should take care that you should not fill complete capillary. You have to just fill, say for example, 2 or 3 centimeter area of the capillary. Only that much quantity is to be filled which you can easily see during your experimentation work, or easily visible quantity. That much quantity only you have to fill, not much more quantity. After filling the solid in the capillary tube, just clean it from outside with the help of your rough napkin or with filter paper or so, and then tie this capillary tube containing given sample of organic compound to thermometer near its bulb with the help of thread or rubber band. In your introductory practical, during our discussion about the things which you must bring in the laboratory while coming for the practical, I have asked to bring thread or rubber band. So here they will be useful. So just tie this pre-filled or this filled capillary with the thermometer near its bulb with the help of thread or rubber band or rubber ring. Now, while tying, one thing you should keep in mind that the lower end, the bulb of the thermometer and the sealed end of your capillary should lie in one plane. Then after that, immerse the thermometer with capillary tube into liquid paraffin. Now, while immersing this thermometer in the Thills tube, you should take care that this thread or rubber ring should not come in contact with the liquid paraffin. Otherwise, what will happen? During heating, this rubber band will break and your capillary will detach from the thermometer. And again, whole experiment you have to repeat. So that care you have to take, that the thread or rubber band should be slightly above the level of liquid paraffin. Now, I forgot to mention that whenever you will feel the liquid paraffin inside the Thills tube, you should feel up to the level of the above the level of your bend end. That means where your bend end is ending, above, slightly above that, you have to feel the liquid paraffin in Thills tube. Now, after that, heat the Thills tube slowly with the help of burner. Now your rate of heating should not be more than 3 degrees centigrade per minute. While heating, you should continuously observe the thermometer and your solid compounds. You should not you should not disturb other anybody else, or you should not get disturbed yourself also. So your continuous focus or concentration should be on temperature noting and uh, observing the compound, what changes are taking place. Now note the temperature at which given solid organic compound is converted into liquid and record it as melting point of the given sample of organic compound. Repeat this procedure twice and take the observation. Twice, thrice you can do for confirmation of melting point of given compound. Now, one thing again you should keep in mind, when you immerse the thermometer and capillary tube inside the Thills tube, one care you should take that it should not touch to any inner wall of the Thills tube. It should be in a hanging position. Okay, and for hanging this thermometer, you need a support of metallic clamp. So in this way, you have to determine the melting point of given solid organic compound. Then below this experiment, there are a set of questions which you must attempt and complete your experiment number 2.